Welcome. I am Denise Tumblin. I'm a CPA and owner of Witchett Tumblin and Associates. We are a management consulting firm out of Columbus, Ohio. We work exclusively with veterinary practices. They're our only clients, and we do a combination of business management, assisting veterinarians with the business side of their medical practice, and we also value practices for sale. We conduct the annual Benchmarks study. That is a research project that is co-funded by my firm and Veterinary Economics, and I'm going to be sharing some of those statistics with you throughout today. We also work with groups of veterinary practices, so we've established management groups, study groups that meet twice a year and learn from each other and discuss various management topics. I am a frequent contributor to Veterinary Economics, so many of you may have read my articles over the years, and I do also quite a bit of public speaking at various conferences and venues throughout the year. So that's who I am. Today we are going to start with developing the next generation of leaders, and my goal with this topic is really just to share some strategies for developing your staff. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we see in practice management is the development of the staff. It's a very common challenge that is raised by our clients and certainly by the readers of Veterinary Economics as well, that's a common concern that they have. And I think it gets more challenging every year. We've got lots of different generations in the workforce now, and obviously different generations communicate in different ways and interpret things in different ways. So our goal is to give you some strategies to work with today. So let's begin by looking at this idea, developing the next generation of leaders. And I want to put out there that part of the purpose for developing the next generation of leaders is being sure that we have in place a culture, an environment that encourages a pleasant patient-client experience. So that's our goal. We want a peaceful, calming, nurturing environment, and we also want it to be upbeat and have positive energy. And this is good not just for your patients and your clients, but obviously for everybody who works in the practice. It's important to have that positive experience so that we want to come to work each day. We certainly don't want to have the opposite of that, and that is chaos. And I've been in lots of practices where it's kind of chaotic, and everybody has those days, of course, but our goal is that we're minimizing those chaotic days and we're expanding the number of peaceful, calming, and nurturing days. So our goal today is that we see things not as they are, perhaps, but as they could be. And we're developing this calm and nurturing environment. So what is the purpose of leaders in a practice? So what is the purpose of a leader? Certainly as an owner of a veterinary practice, you're a leader. As a practice manager, you're a leader. And I think everyone in a practice, regardless of what the position is, has an opportunity to be a leader. So the purpose of a leader, one, is to help the practice and its people achieve results. Our second purpose of leaders is to help develop a culture where people are invited to see others as people. What we really are trying to do is create a sense of belonging, that it's not just the owner's business, but it's all of our businesses. When we work in a business, it's our career, hopefully, and our goal is to create that sense of belonging so that everybody feels like they're part of a whole, greater than themselves, and they're really part of a community. Think of your practice as a community. The third purpose of a leader is to make things better. We want to create an atmosphere where there is a feeling of support, that people receive help from their community, their practice community, when they need it. Success in a business and our influence as leaders depends on whether or not we are what I'm going to call in the box of self-deception. The ability to see that sometimes it's us that has a problem, not the people around us. Self-deception blinds us to the true cause of problems, and once we're blind, all the solutions we can think of will actually make matters worse. Leadership is about making matters better. I recently read a book. I just think this is a fabulous book. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception. It's published by the Arbinger Institute. It's an easy read, but it's really got a lot of great information. And it talks a lot about this idea of leadership making matters better, not making matters worse. So if you have the chance and if you like to read and you want to pick that up, that's a really good and easy read. Leadership traits. What are we looking for in our leaders? Well, there are abilities that we call innate, meaning that we just kind of have them. They're part of our psyche almost. It's not necessarily something that you can teach. There are also learned abilities that leaders can acquire through education and mentoring. And certainly all leaders have a combination of these two traits. You can teach some leadership traits, but some leadership traits I think you're born with. So the inherited or the innate abilities, one would be the ability to rise above difficulties. In other words, we don't get thrown by the challenges that we encounter each day. And obviously that's life. There are challenges that we encounter every day. So the ability to not get too shook up by that is a strong trait of a leader. When we do kind of lose it in those, when we're faced with those challenges, it doesn't help make matters better. It tends to add fuel to the fire, doesn't it? So leaders who can kind of keep their cool in the face of adversity are really desired. Another innate ability is just having that sense of purpose. We know what we want, and we know what we want to accomplish, and we figure out a way to make it happen. And then the ability to develop group dynamics would be a third inherited or innate ability. Learned abilities would be traits like the ability to be a critical thinker, the ability to influence others, the ability to continue to strive for better performance, better solutions, and certainly the ability to conduct yourself in a positive, professional manner. So let's explore these a little bit further, and we're going to start with the innate or the inherited abilities, characteristics. We're going to start with the ability to rise above adversity. Again, you're able to successfully meet challenges. When challenges come up, as they will every day in practice, we have the ability to rise above that and find a solution, find a resolution to get through that. If you have the ability to rise above adversity, you have the ability to focus on opportunities for improvement. Instead of seeing things as a problem, we see them as a challenge or an opportunity to do better. And then the ability to look beyond the present moment and recognize that we're working towards something that's going to make the practice better, make our lives better, make our employees, our coworkers better. So that's the goal of a leader, to be able to do these things and help lead the other staff members to be able to accomplish this as well. A sense of purpose. This means that you've got a clear vision. You can see very clearly where you want to go, where the practice needs to go, and you can help others see that. You have the ability to communicate that vision. And that's a real talent, to have that ability to create inspiration for other people and communicate the vision that you have for the practice. Leaders have a passion for what they're doing. They certainly have a strong work ethic, and they're able to not only have accomplished individual contributions, but they recognize and encourage contributions from their coworkers as well. Developing the group dynamics. What this means is that leaders help create a climate of trust and collaboration. If we have a climate of trust and collaboration, it multiplies our possibilities. A business functions better where trust is the norm. Trust is truly the soul of a successful relationship. And people can tell if we trust them or not, right? You can tell pretty quickly if somebody believes in you, if they trust you, trust your contributions. And the gift of trust empowers the other person and expands his or her possibilities. So you not only expand the possibilities of the practice, but you expand the possibilities of the other person as well. And part of being a leader is helping to develop the talents and strengths and skills of your coworkers. So certainly utilizing your coworkers' strengths and interests is part of developing that group dynamic. And then seeing others as people. Now, what do I mean by seeing others as people? What do I mean? Of course we see them as people, right? Do you see people as people, the same as you, with needs and desires as legitimate as yours? And then do you see yourself as a person among people or a person among objects? I think it's important to remember that we are all unique, and we are loved for ourselves in spite of our faults. We all have them. And in recognizing other people and in giving our warmth and our true presence, we can help facilitate change. So that's how we make change happen. We facilitate that change to happen. When I say true presence, I'm really talking about being truly present in the moment. And I know we've all been in situations where we're really thinking about three other things, and we're present, but we're not truly present. We're not really hearing what's going on. We're not really engaged in the discussion. We're not engaged with the person that's in front of us. And again, I think in a veterinary hospital, it's really easy for this disengagement to happen because you have so much going on. You've got patients, you've got clients, you've got staff members that you're working with, and you've got 20 million different things that you have to accomplish in any given day, in any given hour. And it's really easy to get unfocused, to lose your focus. So this is a little mantra that I routinely say to myself, and it's all about maintaining focus and recognizing that while I might have 10 different things that I have to get done today, at this moment, I'm doing this. So I have to focus on this. And if you maintain your focus, it creates inspiration for yourself. If you're really engaged in what you're doing, that creates inspiration. And if you get inspired, it creates magnetism. And other people want to hear what you have to say. So as a leader, whether it's a practice manager, a practice owner, a technician, a receptionist, whatever the position is, as a leader, if you can truly maintain your focus, if you are truly inspired by what you do, it will create magnetism. In the exam room, if you're inspired by what you're doing, your clients are going to listen. They'll be much more engaged in what you have to say. If you're teaching a staff member, if you're truly engaged with them, if you're truly present for them, they're going to be much more likely to listen to what you have to say. So it really helps you to connect with the present moment. No matter what we're doing on the outside, people respond primarily to how we're feeling about them on the inside. So no matter what we say, we've all heard that saying, we have to walk the talk. So if our actions don't belie our words, if they say something different than what our words are saying, we're not going to believe our words, right? The people that you're talking with aren't going to believe your words, they're going to believe your actions. So no matter what you're doing on the outside, people respond to how you're feeling about them on the inside. Let's talk about learned characteristics. Learned characteristics. We'll start with thinking. It is possible to teach people to be critical thinkers, to be discreet in their thinking, to consider all facets, not just one. We have to consider all facets around us. It is possible to teach people to be organized in their thinking. It is possible to teach people to focus on accuracy and clarity, both through example. I think all of these, part of the teaching comes from leading by example, teaching by example. So creating a mirror image, basically, is what we're talking about here. So if you are discreet with your thinking and organized with your thinking and focused and have clarity, that will help the people around you become more discreet in their thinking. Creating innovative ideas, that's a true characteristic of a leader, is having that ability to think creatively and not always look for the same solution. Sometimes those solutions that you've used in the past work very, very well, and sometimes you need to think a little more creatively and kind of outside the box. And certainly consider the big picture. The actions that we take today have lots of ripple effects, don't they? So we need to consider, if I take this path, what is going to be the ramification of that? What's going to be the effect of that? So teaching your staff members to think through their decisions and not just leap without thinking first. Influence. We can teach people to seek the best outcome. We can teach people the importance of developing a professional reputation. I think this is becoming even more important in this day and age of social media on the internet, and what you put out there can come back to haunt you. How many of your staff members do you know have social media pages? Probably a pretty high percentage of them do. And how many of you, when you're hiring staff members, you go on Facebook or MySpace to see? Does that ever rule people out based on what you see on the internet? Sometimes. So what would cause you to say, maybe this isn't the person that we want in our practice? Pictures of illegal drug use on the internet. Might not want to hire that person. It's amazing what people will put out there, isn't it? It's important to communicate to your staff and to, again, create that culture that we do want a professional reputation to be out there in the community about our practice. And every member of your practice is an ambassador for your practice. And their reputation has an impact on your practice. Your reputation has an impact on them. So I think it's wise to tactfully, regularly remind your staff members that their actions do have an impact on your business. And being sure that they are fostering the kind of reputation that they want to have. Rapport with staff and clients. I think you can help teach people, again, a lot by leading by example, to have a rapport with staff and clients. For your clients, to me, knowing someone's name is so vitally important. From a client's perspective, I like to know that when I go in my doctor's office that the staff knows who I am, and they call me by name, and they call my pets by name. That's important to me. I think it's important to all of us. So for those of you with large number of staff members, making an effort to know everybody's name is important, even new people. I've been in large practices before that had a lot of turnover, and the owners weren't that involved in the hiring process, and they didn't even always know their staff members' names. All right, striving. How do we teach people about striving? Striving, in my mind, is a lot to do with continuous learning and improvement. I think that staff members who have lost the desire to learn and to grow, if the practice has not already outgrown them, it soon will. I feel sad for people that aren't excited and enthused about learning, because I think that it's too easy to get into a rut and to get tunnel vision. So we do want people that continue to strive to grow. Leaders initiate research. Again, let's find a different way. We've always done it this way, but gosh, maybe there's a better, more efficient, more effective way to do this. And again, taking pride in their own accomplishments, certainly, but certainly in the accomplishments of their co-workers. One of the questions that we asked this year in our benchmark study, we surveyed this question to the staff members of our study participants. And we asked, and we gave them a list of leadership areas and asked them, in which of the following areas would you like additional training or mentoring in? And we gave them this list and asked them to rate the areas, 1 to, I think there were 10 or 12 items. In which of the following areas would you like additional training or mentoring? And this was the rating that they gave the list of choices. So they said, number 1, most important to us that we need more mentoring in is communication and relationship skills. That was number 1 on their list. Focus and organization was their second. Developing innovative ideas, they wanted more help in learning how to do that. Respect for clients and coworkers, being a reliable professional coworker, ethical leadership, enthusiasm and optimism for work, and work ethic. So of the 8 items, that's how they rated them in terms of what was most important to them in needing more assistance with their learning. When I visit practices, one of the things I do is have a staff meeting with the staff, and I'm asking them for their ideas and their suggestions and what would they like to accomplish. And if they're raising challenges, if they have challenges in practice, I turn that question back to them and say, do you have ideas for resolving that? So I think part of that, helping them to create innovative ideas, is making them think about it. Because it's real easy to just say, okay, here's the problem, you go solve it. Managers, you probably hear that every day, all day long. Here's my problem, fix it for me. But we've got to continue to reinforce that idea that, wait a minute, you have a say in this as well. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about this? And if they don't know right then, say, all right, go away, think about it, and then come back and talk to me about this again. So it's constantly challenging them to think about solutions. Or what would you like to see happen in the practice? That's a common question that I'll ask the staff. Is there anything that you would like to see offered for the clients that you're not currently offering? Is there anything that would make your job easier? Is there some little glitch in the process that you have a solution for? So it's just constantly prodding them, challenging them to think. Being a reliable professional coworker, again, I think to a certain extent you can lead by example here, but I also know that if somebody's an unreliable person, I'm not quite sure you can ever teach them completely to be a reliable person. It might be their personality, I don't know. Managers in the room, any creative ideas there for teaching someone to be a reliable coworker? Get a new one. So your thought is that, again, that's part of who they are, and it's difficult to teach them to be different. So I think that you can do as much as you can in terms of showing a good example, but if people are not getting it, then yes, you may have to make a change. And some of these things, there's no doubt, are more difficult to teach than others. In fact, in terms of teaching leadership, people who have the talent, and it is a talent to touch people, and I don't mean physically touch, but spiritually and emotionally touch, they're really able to facilitate insight and transformation. I was at the American Animal Hospital Association conference in March, and the keynote speaker was a gentleman who made it out of the World Trade Center during 9/11. He's blind, and he was with his guide dog, his service dog, and a friend. He was on the 78th floor, and he talked about leadership and co-working, and it still touches me today. So having that ability to, again, reach people and touch them helps facilitate change.